Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Robbie. This is my craft corner. And today I'm gonna be turning this cheap $10 bunny mask that I got off of Amazon into Springtrap. So as you guys know, I have a whole series where I took cheap Five Nights at Freddy's masks and turned them into crazy, way better versions. But this video is gonna be a little bit different, because at the end of the video, I'm gonna be giving this mask to Matthew Lillard. If you guys don't know, let me give you a quick overview of Matthew Lillard. If you guys don't know who that is, it's actually William Afton himself from the FNAF movie. He played a couple of other iconic roles, including Scream and Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, both the live action and the cartoon. I'd love him in both. So make sure to watch to the end to see exactly how this goes, I guess. The regular sauce actually has probably the best reference of Springtrap I could find. If you just Google Springtrap movie suit, if you just look up Springtrap movie suit, there aren't really great images. There really aren't very bright images that you can go off of. Everything is very dark, not a lot of detail. Everything has been slightly color corrected, and you can't really tell the proper color that it's supposed to be. So I think I'm gonna go off of the regular sauce's design because it looks extremely similar to the movie one. It's just more detailed. So now that I have an idea of the general shape of his head and the colors and how I want him to look, it's time to start customizing this guy. At first, I'm already starting to see some similarities. You know, they're both bunnies, so they have the general shape, but Mr. Springtrap here has kind of like a more bulbous head shape. Also, the mouth is kind of detached. Also, he has different teeth, different fur, different eyes. I'm actually gonna have to change pretty much everything about this, but that's okay. It's gonna be worth it. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start by taking off the fur. That's a pretty good step. Be real careful not to damage him. There we go. Come on. Be real careful. Honestly, this already looks way scarier. He just has like chunks of like fur left on him, and oh my gosh. Wow. Already on to a great first step. I'm gonna go in with some pliers and just kind of take out all the extra fur and just clean it up real good. There we go. Come on. Oh my god, this is gonna take forever. Okay, so I found out that it's actually a little easier to get a popsicle stick and kind of just use it to scrape it off. And that's because the popsicle stick is harder than the hot glue, but softer than the plastic. So it doesn't really hurt the plastic, luckily. And you can just scrape it right off. Look at that, it's coming right off. That's pretty good. Nice. There's a little hack for you if you're following along, I guess. Ah, I broke my popsicle stick. Don't do that. So now I'm gonna start the modification process. So first things first, it looks like these eyes don't match at all. Just gonna take those bad boys out. Okay, that's better. Very nice. We now have some gaping holes. Next, I think I'm gonna do his teeth. Oh shit, my phone. I put it down on my phone. Look at that. Oh my gosh. At least it's not bad, and I noticed right away. That could have ended badly. Anyway, looking better already. Now I think I'm gonna go and do the ears. The ears are now removed, but the head shape just still doesn't look right. There's a lot of creases and there's a lot of bumps. This man has absolutely no eyebrows. This guy has some defined eyebrows. So I think I'm also going to disconnect his mouth. That way I can really play with his facial features a little bit. Okay, yeah, that's already looking a lot better. Next, I'm just gonna grab some duct tape, and we're gonna start kind of shaping his head using the duct tape, as well as this leftover foam that I have. Boopity boop, kind of making the general shape right now. I kind of want to get rid of this strap just to make it a little easier, but also I don't want to mess it up. It's a dilemma, I know, but I'm gonna go ahead and remove it for now. Boop! Go ahead and keep filling in his ears. Go ahead and keep filling him in. I also bought this metallic ducting tape, which is different than duct tape. Ironically, you don't really use this on ducks at all. It's terrible for that. You use this stuff on ducks. I don't know what you actually use this for. I guess whatever you want, kind of like what I do. But this stuff is pretty cool because it's basically foil sheets with an adhesive on the other side. It's a lot more rigid than normal duct tape. It can also cut you too, so be careful if you handle this stuff. I don't remember being able to cut it very well. Let's see how this cuts. Ooh, yeah. So I'm probably gonna have to use, oh my gosh. Probably gonna have to use some scissors for this. There we go. And also, it gives it a nice metallic feel, you know? Just use this to kind of shape him up a little bit, round him out. Get rid of all these little bumps that he has. Grab some more foam, just kind of put it in there, I guess. I'm just using this foam because it's what I got on my hands right now. You could also use polyfill with this, I guess. I'm just gonna use some duct tape to kind of get the general shape. I like the idea of doing it from one side to the other. That way I have room to still put my hand in and kind of help shape it. It's kind of like Play-Doh. You just gotta mold it and play with it until you get it the shape you want it. I'm just kind of ripping pieces off of this and then shoving it right in there. I almost think I need to make bigger eye holes now. So I think I kind of messed up, but it's okay. I can fix this. I'm just gonna go ahead and use me old Dremel. Boopity boop, here we go. Can you Dremel duct tape? We're about to find out. Can you Dremel duct tape? We're about to find out. Nope, especially if it has cotton in it. So I guess I'm just gonna take my scissors. I'm just gonna cut this back, just a pinch. I'm gonna need different scissors. Here we go, here's some sewing scissors. That's a little better. That's looking pretty good. Yeah. So I'm gonna go back and retape everything I just cut. Just get the general shape to make his eyes a little bit more round. back and add some of this tape, kind of like right here. Okay, so originally I kind of wanted to just make it a flat mask, but now I kind of want to make it like a whole head mask. I don't know, that might be a lot. I'm gonna start off with the half mask first, I guess. So the general shape of the head is looking good. So now I think I'm gonna start on the little nose. So the nose on Springtrap is a little flatter. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just use a little bit of foam for this. Okay. Now we have to get this on here. First I'm gonna shape it a little bit. Ooh, this is nice. I like these scissors on the foam. First thing I do is kind of cut out the general shape I want, and then afterwards I just go in and kind of detail it. I really like these scissors for the foam because they have kind of like a curved edge to them. So if you want to cut the foam a certain way, you can either like kind of scoop it like this, or you can kind of dig in more, do more curves like that. It's pretty nice. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Kind of like generally how I want it. Might go in and kind of snip some room out for his actual nose. That way it just kind of slides right on. There we go. Get closer. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab my duct tape. I feel like I can still fit it better, actually. There we go. Haha! That looks very nice. Fit on there. Kind of snug. Not bad. So yeah, now I'm just gonna tape this bad boy on. Boopity boop. There we go. Now his eyes look really round. Now his eyes look much more round. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm just gonna go ahead and tape on his mouth now. I'm gonna go ahead and close my mouth and start taping on his mouth. Well, I guess his nose technically. Just gonna go ahead and shove some foam, kind of like where I have a little gap, just to fill it in a little bit. So now that I have the basic shape of the top part of the head, I have to work on the jaw. Originally, I was just gonna use the bottom part of the jaw and just kind of like put it like this. It's just not the right shape. And even if I use a heat gun to kind of help shape it a little bit, it's still too small in my opinion. So I'm just gonna toss that off to the side, and I'm gonna get some wire. This is anti-lead wire, and I think I'm basically just going to take the curvature of his head using this fun little mat, maybe go off of like this one, and then I can get kind of like a rough idea of how much wire I need. Boopity boop. Just kind of shape that real good. Okay. I still feel like it could be longer. Boopity boop. How's that? Does that fit? That's pretty decent. That's not bad. I think that'll fit. So now I think I'm gonna take some pliers. I'm just gonna go and bend little boobity boops on it just like this. Haha. I don't know how well you can see that, but then I have something for it to kind of latch onto right here. Just gotta drill a quick hole. And then boom, we have the hinge of his jaw. I was feeling lazy, so I just cut this into a point, and I'm just gonna stab it through the plastic. Boom! Wow, that turned out pretty good. Easy peasy. Then I can just bend that over. Boop! I think I have to make it ever so slightly shorter. There we go. Now we have a nice hinge on it. So that looks about kind of where I want everything to go. It's looking pretty nice. Sweet, so I think I have a good base of how I'm gonna do his jaw. So now I'm gonna build out the rest of it with some more wire, I think. Just gonna use some duct tape to help hold this together. Use some more wire. This is what I got of the jaw so far. The general shape isn't looking too bad. So now I think I'm gonna go in and kind of build the rest of it out with wire. Oh my gosh, this is a pretty time-consuming process, not gonna lie. But hopefully it'll look good in the end, so it'll all be worth it. There we go. Okay, so I really like how the jaw is shaped and how it looks. Now it's time to completely cover it in duct tape. I think I'm actually gonna use this metal tape that I was talking about earlier just to start off. I don't even know how to start on this. Oh my gosh. And just do something like that. Boopity boop, there we go. Kind of form it around the wire. Yeah, there we go. That's starting to look like a jaw. So his jaw is looking pretty good, but after looking at his head 10,000 times, I kind of think that I need to add a little bit more fluff right here, maybe? So I'm just gonna kind of add so that it goes out like this and then kind of in. And that should help it a little bit. Yeah, I think that's what it's really missing. Okay, so now I think I finally got about the appropriate head shape, right? That looks right? But now the jaw just doesn't feel correct to me. So I think I'm gonna have to make another jaw. Well, at least I know how to do it now, I guess. So this is looking pretty good, and I think I might have put my finger on what the difference is. I think his nose needs to be down just ever so slightly. So I'm gonna go in and cut off his nose, I guess. Just very carefully. And I think that's what it needs, honestly. A slight nose job. I think he just looks weird because he has no teeth right now. I can't really put my finger on it. Maybe it's the eyeballs. I think it's because he has no eyeballs or teeth. In general, I think the shape is really good. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's like from the game where you're just looking through the mask. Okay, I think I'm gonna start adding a little bit of fluff to the mouth area, just to kind of give it a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it. Almost like roll it. Yeah, that's good. I want to make it so that you can attach a rubber band to it and it kind of holds it shut like this, but when you open your mouth it opens. So it literally talks when you talk. Doesn't that sound cool? There we go. See what I mean? Doesn't that just give it a little more oomph? One thing I did forget was to build the rest of this mask out. Oops. So I think I'm gonna make a little bit of extra room in the mouthpiece right here. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and check and see if this works on my head. Let's see. Okay, that kind of fits over my chin. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then I still have a little bit of room in there. I think it's starting to come together. Okay, so I finally got the head kind of the shape that I want. I redid the jaw a little bit. I made it a little bit wider. He has that big chin, you know? But yeah, overall, this is looking fantastic. Now I think it's time to start working on the ears. So obviously, these ears are kind of short for what we need. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the original ears for the bottom part, and then I'm gonna have to make the top part of the one ear that's not broken out of scratch, out of wire and duct tape, like I've been doing with the rest of the mask. That looks kind of like the shape. Yeah, that looks a lot more like his shape. Do that with the other one. Yeah, there we go. Even this part of the ear feels a little bit more rounded, so I'm gonna round out the top part too. I kind of almost just want to make these out of foam instead. I think that would probably be a lot easier. Yeah, there we go. That's looking a lot more like the shape. Flatten that out a little bit. There we go. Pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, I really like that. Sweet. So now I'm gonna take some foam, and I think I'm gonna actually custom carve the top part of the one piece of ear. I'm just gonna use a Sharpie to get the general shape of what I want. Pretty good. I almost feel like I should just cut another set of the ears at the bottom. I don't know. I'm gonna see how the top part turns out first, though. I'm gonna start with the little piece. There we go. Take my little scissors and kind of define it a little bit. This definitely doesn't have to be 2 inches thick, so I'm gonna cut this down to 1 inch. Yeah, that's better. I almost feel like it needs to be a little bit wider, so I'm gonna try and make another one. That's a little better. Get my razor blade and then kind of start carving out the indent. It's like a little, almost divot or something inside the ear. Actually, the razor blade's not working, so I'm just gonna keep using my scissors. There we go. Okay, I think that should do it. Not bad. Part of me still really wants to just make this from scratch, so I think I'm just gonna make the bottom part of the ear from scratch as well, using the old foam method. Just gonna trace the outline of this one, because it had a really good shape. I just think I should keep it consistently foam, if anything. I'm gonna take my blade, I'm gonna cut this bad boy in half because I don't need the whole thing. And I can use it for both ears. There we go. Now I just gotta do the same thing I did with this one and kind of carve out the middle, just so you can see like the bunny ear indent, you know what I mean? Boopy boop. Pretty good. Boopity boop. Pretty good. Now I just gotta do it with the other one. Okay, second one is done. I made a little hole in it, but you know what? It's okay. It's gonna be covered in duct tape and felt anyway, so I don't even care. Does it look like the right size? It looks like it's about the right size. If anything, I could always make it a little bigger. But next, I think I'm gonna go in and start adding some structure to these ears using some of this annelid wire. Boop. Maybe like, just gonna string it on up through the center, then kind of work my way up through it. That's pretty nice. I like that actually. Let's add a little bit more. Boom, bam. It looks a little funky right now, but I think with a little bit of messing with it, I can make it look a little straighter. There we go, that's a little better. Pretty good. Now I gotta do the same thing, run it up through this ear. Yeah, pretty good. Do the same thing with the other side. Not gonna lie, it's looking a little rough. There we go. It's looking better than it did before. Putting it through here. Haha! Looking good. I think I should maybe move it over this way a little bit. I just basically poked the wire through the duct tape. And it seems to be working pretty good. Yeah, there we go. Yeah? I almost think the ears need to be bigger, but I could always adjust it a little bit later. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start covering these in duct tape. Well, after I do the wire in this one, I mean. So I added the ears, and they look a little small to me, but I know that they're gonna get slightly bigger with the duct tape I'm adding and the fur. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get going with that, I guess. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and take the ear off for now. That way it's a little easier to do this. So for his nose, maybe we could do like... Okay, so after looking really closely to Springtrap, I think I need to build a little bit more of the top jaw. Use the old annelid wire method, I guess. Just keep doing what I'm doing, keep on trucking. Easy peasy. Extend it ever so slightly. That looks like it should be enough. I'm just gonna keep on building onto it, I guess. Yeah, that should be good. I think I actually have to build another wire because I need to build the inside of his mouth too. So I got these orbs off of Amazon. So I got these little clear orbs off of Amazon and I just shoved them right in his eye holes. They turned out to fit perfectly, so I was very in luck. But so far, he's looking pretty dang good. I also kind of reshaped his head a little bit. I'm probably gonna do a little bit more reshaping, maybe almost like elongate his head a little bit, because he has kind of like a little bit longer of a head. He also has a very flat forehead, so I'm gonna do my best to kind of flatten that out a little bit. I also got really lucky and I found this 3D model of Springtrap online. I'll go ahead and link him down in the description down below too, so you guys can see the reference I used. As you can see, he has a very like flat profile compared to this, where it's just a little bit too curved, I think. But he's definitely getting there. I'm gonna use a silver Sharpie to mark how big I want these guys. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these out. There we go. Ah. We're gonna go ahead and get some more anti-lead wire. I'm gonna stick it right into the tooth. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. This is just like how real implants are. Kind of. Not really. I don't want to scare you, but they kind of are. I kind of want to start with the front, actually. Ah, yes, right about here. I think they almost need to be a little bit wider. I don't know. Okay, so they don't look very good right now because they're black, but I got all the teeth made. So now it's time to paint these guys. So for this, I basically cut out a piece of the foam and then I wrote which tooth it is. So starting at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if you can see that. It's all black, so it's a little confusing. I also labeled it bottom, that way I don't get it mixed up. But yeah, so now I'm just taking them off, boop, boop, and then putting them on new sticks over here. Very good. So it just looks like that, and I'm just gonna... So there we go. This is how I'm gonna spray paint them. I might write all the numbers on the bottom too, because I know they're gonna get covered with paint, so... 8. There we go. Perfect. Okay, now I gotta do the top. Ah yes, it's time to try out my brand new spray paint booth. All I gotta do is press this and it turns on the vents. Perfect! So apparently there's a bunch of ways to actually paint EVA foam, but you always have to prime it first, otherwise the paint kind of sinks into the foam. I'm gonna try it with this gloss protective enamel, that way it makes a hard coating on the outside. I'm really hoping this has a primer in it already, because if not, it's just gonna seep into the foam. We're gonna try a little experiment here. Oh, that's pretty good. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna try it. Okay, now that our teeth are dry, I decided that in order to make them a little bit stronger, I'm gonna cover them in this moldable plastic. Basically, what you gotta do is boil some water. These things become kind of transparent. These things become kind of transparent and kind of moldable. And then I'm gonna use that stuff to kind of mold it over the teeth. Boopity boop. Okay, I covered the teeth completely in the plastic stuff, and they're all back in his head. Now I think I'm gonna go ahead and hot glue them in place. I made this wire kind of bracket to put behind his teeth to help hold them in place a little bit better. It's basically a retainer. Let's see if you can see that. Here we go, there we go. Just lining that with the bottom, and I kind of molded it to his teeth like that. There we go. I'll just stab in there. I'm just gonna cover this in hot glue. Just hope that it adheres to the teeth. Boopity boop. Gloobity gloop. I'm gluing. I'm gluing. Gluing, gluing, gluing. I'm gluing. There we go. Oh yes, let's see how that looks. Oh God, it's getting everywhere. Oh yes, hot glue everywhere. Make sure to touch it, get it all over your hands. That's the trick with this. Okay guys, I forgot to film this next part. I got a little excited, but I basically took the moldable plastic and I kind of used it to reinforce the teeth a little bit. So now they're very, very strong. And this is just a hard layer of plastic. Same way I just kind of mold the plastic to the foam, I just kind of molded it over the teeth and onto the mask. It's very hard and very solid now. I also went in with my Dremel and sort of just cleaned up the teeth a little bit, reshaped them, took some of the molding plastic and made these teeth a little bit more even. I might go in and kind of clean up even the gum line a little bit. Yeah, that's looking pretty dang good. Look at those chompers. Whoa, I should be a freaking dentist, honestly. So now I'm gonna go in with this plastic wrap and I'm gonna wrap everything that I just wrapped in duct tape in the plastic wrap. That way I can go in and kind of make lines of how I wanna cut it, and I can make a sewing pattern using this duct tape. It's a process, trust me. I'm just covering duct tape with more duct tape. I gotta love it. Probably gonna pop out the eyes for now. There we go, boopity boop. And the first one is done. Now I just gotta do that like a gazillion more times. Okay, so now I got everything rewrapped in the tape that I'm gonna make the pattern out of. So I'm gonna go in with a Sharpie and I'm gonna start making lines wherever I wanna put my seams. Ah, yes, this seems correct. I'm also going in and labeling what everything is as I do it. Inner ear. Now I'm gonna go in with Sharpie and just start numbering all the different pieces. That way I absolutely 100% don't mess this up. I'm just gonna write the same number all over the same piece. That way it's almost impossible to lose it. And I'm always gonna make them touch each other. 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Next side will be 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2. Now for the back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 4, 5 in the jawbone, 5 in the jawbone, 5. Oh, this is kind of a separate part, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how I want to do that part. That's the entire top of the head. I just gotta do the same thing with this. I'll do like, this next one will be 6, and then 7 on the back. 7, 7, 7, 8, 9, 9, 9, 10 on the outer ear, 11, 11, 11, 12, 13, 14, 14, 14, 15, 15. Okay, yeah, and that should do it. Fantastic. Now I gotta go in with my little scissors and just start cutting these bad boys out. And I have to be really careful not to get the duct tape underneath. I think I'm gonna actually start with 1. Wait, but before that, I'm gonna take photos of everything. That way I know exactly where everything is. I'm also gonna do a video. Sometimes it's easier just to get a video and just kind of like look at it all around. And that should just about do it. I took photos of pretty much everything, so I can use this as a reference later if I need to. I'm just gonna go ahead and do one little piece at a time. I'm gonna start with the easiest piece, which is probably the right ear, I'd say. I have to make sure I'm really careful and I don't cut the duct tape underneath. There we go, perfect. One other thing is you have to go in and add these markers, kind of saying where the pieces come together. So I'm gonna go in and do that with all my pieces really quick. I can't believe I completely forgot about that. Okay, now it's time to start cutting stuff apart. Oopsie doopsies. Boopity boop. There we go. Pretty good. So now I go ahead and mark where these come together too. I should have done this before, honestly, but it's okay. So now I have to somehow figure out how I want to flatten this out. This feels very extra for how I'm doing this. I feel like I could do it a better way, so I might retape this around that way. So, well, looks like I'm starting over. And this is exactly why I did the smaller one first. Just gonna start all over again. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. Boopity boop. Okay, I'm gonna try this again. So now that I got this cut out, it's time to start making some patterns in our fabric. So the way I've been doing this, so the best way I found to do this is to lay out your fabric just like this. So what you do is you lay out your fabric like this, and then you put it inverted onto the fabric, just like that. And then you invert it, put it upside down on the fabric, just like that. And we go in and outline our fabric pattern, just like this. Boom. I'm also gonna match. I like to go in and kind of lift it up a little bit, just like this. That way I can really just mark all my same markings on here. It's not super accurate, unfortunately. It's good enough. Middle ear. Then we're gonna go on to the back ear. Back right ear. Now for this one, as you can see, it's kind of a weird shape, so I'm gonna have to flatten it out somehow. And I think I'm gonna do that by just kind of cutting some points in it to take away the stress. I'm hoping that this turns out better than the last one. It's a little rough, but it's okay. I think that'll do it. Yeah, that looks roughly the shape I need it. Now I'm just gonna trace all the markings. Now it's time to go in and cut out our fabric. I actually messed up. I'm supposed to use a different fabric for the inner ear. So, oops. I wanted to go in and use this brighter color fabric. Boopity boop, my bad. Luckily, I still have the stencil. So you can always just make another piece. Now I'm going to attempt to sew all these little pieces together. Luckily, I have this reference that I can use. Boopity boop. I just kind of wrap it around however it went. And then I basically have to just try and recreate this shape. Easy peasy. Just going to take some thread that's the same color. All these patterns and stuff are also supposed to go in the middle, so you're actually going to put this together inside out and then invert it when you're done. For this method, I'm going to be using a whip stitch. I learned this method from Krutengers. He's called the Puppet Nerd on YouTube. Basically, you just start your stitch just like that, in through one side. I like to come out through the middle. Then I go back in through the middle of the fabric like that. And you come out as close as you can while still having material there. Boopity boop. And you go back through the other way again. And you just kind of repeat that process. Boom bam. And when you pull it together, you'll have a really nice seamless stitch on the back. I like to also kind of reinforce these. Whenever you're at pieces where you feel like it's gonna fall apart, the only thing I do is I go back inside this little loop, boopity boop, and that just kind of ties it off, so it's nice and strong. I'll do that every once in a while, or if it's kind of crazy, I'll do it the entire time. But for now, this doesn't seem too wild. It doesn't need to be super strong, so I'm just gonna do a bunch of normal whip stitches. Finish it off by tying it off, just like I did earlier. I don't know what the proper term for this is, but I call it a lock stitch. Basically, a whip stitch, but you just kind of lock it in place, just with an extra little knot. Boom! And then you're free to cut it. And that is the first one down. And there we go. As you can see, I got a little Sharpie on there so you can see that. But other than that, it's fairly seamless. It doesn't really look too much like a seam. You can always go in and do what's called seam picking, where you try and kind of flatten out the valley of the seam. That way, it's almost basically invisible. Just kind of take your needle and just kind of run it over it. Pull some of the fabric out a little bit. If you guys want to see a full video on this, feel free to go to Krutengers' video right over here. In the meantime, I'm gonna finish putting this ear together. Okay, so this is what we have now. It's like a little sock that's gonna go on his ear, I guess. So now we're gonna flip this bad boy inside out, just like that. Boom, we have ourselves a little ear for Spring Bonnie. So now we're gonna shove the ear foam part into the ear sock, just this little slit right here. Hopefully I made it big enough to where it won't hurt it. It is also foam, so it does squish down a little bit, luckily. Now we're gonna finish it off with something called a ladder stitch. So basically, you got your thread already in there, and you're gonna want to go through the fabric, but down on one side, and then out. Then you go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Boop. Ideally, you would do it across from where the last stitch is, just like this. We're just gonna keep doing this until we seal up the hole. And there we go, just do a little bit of seam picking to kind of fix everything up a little bit. Just do a little bit of seam picking to kind of fix everything up a little bit. Yeah, and overall, that's looking pretty freaking good. I just have to do that with the entire ear and the entire head. So now after watching Five Nights at Freddy's 1.5 times, I now have Spring Bonnie's ear. I know I've been calling it Spring Trap the whole time, but it's technically not Spring Trap until William Afton dies inside the suit. And then it's Spring Trap. My bad, guys. I did a little research. I've honestly just been watching Five Nights at Freddy's lore for the last 20 hours. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start on the other ear and just keep doing the rest of this mask, I guess. Okay, and now the jaw is just about completely sewn. I do want to go in with some hot glue and kind of glue the fabric to the teeth so that it doesn't do this, but I'll do that later after I finish the head. Hey guys, so I'm about this far done with the mask, but I have really exciting news. Recently, I had the privilege to meet probably the best FNAF cosplayer of all time. And I mentioned to him that I was making myself and Matthew Lillard a Springtrap mask. So he's coming over tomorrow to see the finished mask, and he's gonna tell me exactly what I can do to improve it. But the only problem is, I'm not done with the mask. And that's why I'm recruiting probably the best sewer that I know, Tori Dobransky.
Hello everyone. Oh, hold your applause, It's okay, it's okay. It's just Tori Dobransky.
Tori Dobransky helped me sew the Sonic head up here, and we got it done real fast.
So fast.
So we have Tori Dobransky, and she's gonna help me finish this mask today. Tori Dobransky, do you think we're gonna be able to finish this mask in time?
I think so.
Well, we better get to it, I guess. So while Tori's going in and finishing up all the sewing, I'm gonna fix his teeth a little bit. They look a little bit short to me, in my opinion. Especially going off the 3D model, I think they could just be a little bit longer. You ready to do this? And break! Okay guys, so we're in the home stretch. I got the teeth all fixed up. They look, you know, a little bit better. Tori helped me finish sewing a good portion of this. Now we just have to put everything that we sewed up onto the outline of the head. Hopefully everything lines up really nice. Oh, here we go. Yes!
Ooh, that looks so good, Robbie.
Yes! I just need to make the teeth a little bit bigger. Here we go. We've done it! Look how good this is looking. Now we just gotta sew on the back of his face. And then, you know, also attach this somehow. Okay, so Tori Dobransky is now gonna work on the eyes, and I am gonna start gluing all the fabric down on the jaw. 1, 2, and break! Now I'm gonna take his jaw and I'm gonna add just a little bit of polyfill in here. That way his features aren't quite as sharp. Gives him a little bit more life. Or, you know, whatever the animatronic is supposed to have. Just give this haunted animatronic a little bit more life. Or whatever it's supposed to have, I guess. I'm gonna poke the polyfill around to kind of shape it a little bit. Yeah, that's looking better already. I'm just stuffing his gum, a little bit of polyfill. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now that I got that kind of how I want it, I'm gonna start pulling the fur up to the teeth and start gluing them in place. I'm not sure how well this is gonna turn out. I'm gonna do my darn best. I'm gonna use maybe some pliers, that way I don't have to touch the fabric as closely and burn myself, as always. Just gonna use some pliers and a little bit of hot glue. Hopefully I can get this to really just stay in place how I want it. Luckily, if you know me, I am a master at hot glue. Just gonna tuck the felt a little bit using my pliers. Boop. There we go. Yeah! That looks nice. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's perfect. Now I just gotta do that with the rest of the teeth. Now I'm gonna go in and add some of the withering to the left ear. I just need to kind of outline where I'm gonna cut it out. Then a little bit on the side right here. I'm gonna go ahead and cut that out. Carefully cut this out. Ah, there we go. Very nice. I'm gonna cut out the other one. Ah, yes, there we go. That looks pretty good. Now I just gotta do the top. Very easy like. I'm just gonna go and add a little bit of pie tin to it. Before we finish putting the skin completely back on this thing, I kind of want to go in and add some metal to the sides of the face and all the places where Bonnie has this damage. That way I can go in with my grinder and it'll kind of just show some raw metal underneath. To do that, I'm just going to use some of these pie tins and some hot glue. Just go ahead and cut this out. Yeah, that'll do it. Got to kind of form fit it to the side of his head a little bit. I almost want to just cut a chunk out of his head right here, but that feels like it might be a lot. I'm gonna go and cut out this part right here. Boopity boop. I'm even gonna use a little Sharpie to outline where I want to do it. It's kind of like at the halfway point of his eye to like here. Yeah, like that. So I'm just gonna go in and cut a big chunk of his face out. Undo some of the work we just did. That's important. Oh my gosh. This is very tough. There we go. Yeah! That's looking pretty good. Now I'm just gonna make a piece of metal that's slightly bigger than that. Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna use the piece I just cut out, as Tori Prince just said. Take this and just make it ever so slightly bigger than the hole. There we go. Now, carefully insert this somehow. We got this, just like that. It's exactly how we want it. We can get it in there very gently. At this point, I don't think it matters if it looks a little bent. This is supposed to be literally where he got battle damaged. Come on, get in there. Oh my gosh, get in there. It's almost there. Yes, I did it. Yes! Oh my gosh, that looks pretty good. I like it. I'm just gonna go ahead and hot glue that in. Just gonna go ahead and hot glue that in. Oh my gosh, this is a very hot glue gun. Shit, I might need to use the weaker one. Push that down onto the metal. Yes! It's pretty good. Oh yes, that's better. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I'm gonna do the forehead part. Just gonna go in and mark kind of where I want to make it. Yeah, just like that. I think for this part, I'm gonna use the metal tape I was using before because it's a little bit more moldable. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Oh shoot, I forgot this part. Oops. I'm gonna go in and kind of glue some of this stuff together. I actually bought some metallic looking hot glue. I've never heard of it before. This is what it looks like. So I'm just kind of using this to keep everything together, fix the seams a little bit. Also gonna use it inside of this eventually. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that definitely looks like a very messed up spring trap head now. I don't know how well the hot glue is really gonna work to hold this on, but it's okay. I'm gonna grab, now we're gonna grab our spring trap skin and carefully put it over the head. I really don't wanna mess this up. I'm gonna cry if I mess this up. We spent so many hours just making the skin. Here we go. Carefully pull it over. Yes! Oh my gosh, this is looking so good. Pull that, pull this. Get everything nice and tight. Yes! Look at this, guys, it's coming together! Okay, so now we have to attach the eyes to the eye holes. This is probably gonna be a little bit difficult. Gotta really pull these in here. And then it tightens all this stuff up here up a little bit. So I think I'm gonna start pinning this to this. Boopity boop. Yeah, that looks a lot better than before, for sure. You can see a little bit of the hot glue, but I'm gonna see if maybe I can go in with something hot and melt that down. But other than that, I'm really liking how this jaw turned out. Here. Okay, now that Tori has successfully stitched the eyes, look how good that looks. We're gonna go and glue the eyes to the head and put a little bit of glue in here. I'm gonna go and glue the fabric to the inside of the head. That way it doesn't kind of fall out like that. Although it looks pretty good so far, but I'm just gonna throw a little bit of hot glue in here. I'm gonna go ahead and use these little plastic balls that I got to sort of use as a placeholder for when I install the eyes, just to kind of help hold the fabric back a little bit. Oh yes, there we go. Ah, I keep pushing the eyes back by accident. There we go. And that's really pulling the fabric back and making it nice and tight. Boopity boop. Yeah, pretty good. Look at this, it's all coming together, looking absolutely fantastic. Now I just need to go in and glue all the top teeth down, and then we're gonna go and sew this bad boy up. So now that we got the teeth all glued in and they look absolutely beautiful, look at that. I should be a freaking dentist. Now all we have to do is go in with a ladder stitch and stitch up the back of his head, and the stitching is pretty much done. Now I'm gonna try and make his eyes. So it looks like there's almost like a thin, I don't even know what this is, like iris, whatever this is. And then there's a flat eye inside of it. So I think I'm gonna take one of those spears and then cut it. I'm gonna try and cut it using a really thin sanding disc on my Dremel. I'm gonna use the marker to mark how big I want it. Oh my gosh. This is gonna be rough, I can already tell. Okay, so it's a little bit rough, but not too bad. I think if I break off the extra little plastic bits, that should help a little bit. Now I'm hoping that this will just kind of slide onto it. That looks pretty good. Maybe it can go, yeah, on the inside. And then I can just go in with a Sharpie or something, I don't know. Ooh, I'll use a silver Sharpie. Oh, it might work with a silver Sharpie, you never know. Maybe one that's not dead. You know, it kind of like oddly works. I think that's looking more like how I want it to look, honestly. I don't know if I like it over it like that. Kind of under it. Maybe just round out the edges a little bit. I kind of like that. And I kind of want to go in and draw on the other one. I don't know. Oh, wow. I think I might have messed up a little bit, though, because the very center doesn't have anything in it. I really can't tell if I like this or not. I think I'm gonna go ahead and actually make this iris just a little bit smaller. Using my Sharpie, I'm gonna mark how big I wanna make it. There we go. Hopefully that does it. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. A little bit more size appropriate too. I kind of want to go in and instead of painting it with Sharpie, I want to try and use this metallic airbrush paint because it just has a lot more oomph to it, you know? I should probably try and remove as much of the Sharpie as I can. Oh yes, I have some isopropyl alcohol, 91%. I'm really hoping that this doesn't instantly shatter my acrylic. Boopity boop. Oh, that's good. It's coming off though. Oh yeah, sometimes you just gotta start completely over, unfortunately. I mean, luckily for this, we're not starting completely over. I'm just taking some of the color off. Okay, it's not completely clear, but it's definitely looking better. I'm gonna draw the circle on his inner eye really quick. I'm gonna go in with my airbrush paint and carefully paint it. Oh, that's already way better. Look at that silver, that's so brilliant. I really don't need a lot either. It's looking pretty good. I think I'm gonna go in with the airbrush paint and get a really thin line and just start painting the outside as well, just to give it a little bit more depth, if the outside will even paint. Okay, that's looking really good. So one eyeball down. I might go in and redraw the center black part, but this is looking pretty good for what it is. Since the airbrush paint works so well, I'm gonna try this blue airbrush paint. I don't know if it's still good. It's pretty old. Oh yes, here we go. Just gonna make the iris with this. It is very, very bright blue. I really like this blue. I'm gonna go in and add just a little bit of details with a different kind of blue. Now this is kind of what we got. Okay, now I'm going to attempt to hot glue this very carefully onto the eyeball. Boopity boop, just put that right on real carefully. Almost like a contact. That's looking pretty good. Very nice. I like it. Now for the eyebrow part, just grab the little half dome, put some fabric underneath, and just tuck it like that. Grab a little bit of hot glue. There we go. Yeah, that looks quite form-fitted, not gonna lie. Cut off some of the extra. Oh yes, and that should do it, honestly. And this is basically gonna slip right over the eye just like that. And that's how our spring trap is gonna look. Oh no! My eye fell off. Okay, I have to try and re-glue it. Oh, I messed up. I might start with the eyelid first, just to make it a little easier. Yeah, look at that eyelid. That looks so good. Shove his eye in there. Here we go. Get on in there. And there we go, that's his eyeball. I like it. It has this dead look in his eyes that everyone's absolutely gonna love. Now I just gotta make the other one, but I think I'm gonna go into finishing the withering on his head. We already put the metal in here earlier, so I just gotta go in and kind of cut this out however I want it. He has a little bit right here, and he has a little bit right here. I'm just kind of going off of how it feels right here. Also gonna do the side of his face right here. Very nice. He also has kind of like a gash in his upper lip right here, so I'm gonna go in with my Dremel and add that really quick. Now I'm going to go in with my hot glue gun and glue all the fabric down using my metallic hot glue. There we go! He is really starting to come together, not gonna lie. Look at that. I also noticed that the metal on Springtrap is almost like black. So I'm gonna try and use almost like a black metallic paint, kinda help it a little bit. I'm gonna attempt to mix some of the black and my metallic paint together to get it almost like a little bit darker. And I'm hoping that kinda does it. And it really just makes the look I'm going for. Just a very dark, metallic, almost like rusted. Go in and carefully paint it. Yes, there we go. Now I'm gonna go over and do the same thing with his ears. So now I'm gonna attempt to try and make this all one piece. Just try and line it up as well as I can. It's looking pretty good. I think that's about how his head comes together, just like that. So now I'm gonna attach his jaw to the top part of his head. This looks like a pretty good spot to put his jaw. I think I wanna make it articulate from this part. So just like before, I'm gonna go and stab it right through everything. Oh yes, there we go. I'm going to carefully bend it around. Yeah, there we go. Now I'm hoping I can just kind of use this almost as like my needle. There's one small piece of wire just kind of chilling right here. So I'm gonna stab it through this part. Just gotta be careful, and I kind of want to mark where it lines up just to make it a little easier. So I'm just gonna make a little mark. That way I know exactly where it lines up. Boopity boop. That part on that side, part on that side. Just a little mark. I'm gonna go in and stab it with my wire, and hopefully that'll do it. If not, I'm gonna use these scissors right here. And there should just be a wire at the very edge. If I did this right, I think I did. Oh, just stabbed my finger. Ouch. Okay. And boopity boop. There we go. I think this is actually supposed to be on the inside though, so. Haha! I've done it. Oh my gosh, that was a process, but I got it, I got it. And there we go! Got one side of the jaw attached. Very nice. I'm just hoping that I attached it to the right part. It's looking pretty straight. I just gotta do the other side. Be real careful. I don't want to stab myself again. Everything is one piece now, and it looks absolutely crazy. Dang, this is sick. Okay, so now it's time to attach the ears. I just have to make sure I get them in the right spot because I'm gonna be literally stabbing through the fabric. Boopity boop, pretty easy. Come on, you can do it. Just stab it on right through. Here we go. Shove that on back in there. There we go! Oh no! I stabbed it through. I messed up. It's okay, I think I can fix this. This looks like it's in the right spot though. I'll probably pull this back a little bit and then use it almost as an anchor. But overall, pretty good. Now for the other one. It's kind of like pin the tail on the donkey. Oh, this is honestly more difficult than I thought. Time to use some pliers maybe. There we go. I really just didn't want to go in there. Okay, now the ears have completely gone all the way through. Like I said, I'm going to use these almost as an anchor. That way, I can just Haha! There we go! The Springtrap mask is really coming together now. So now I think I'm gonna take out his eye, that way I don't mess it up when I do the withering. And then I gotta do basically the exact same thing, but for the other side. But for now, I think I'm gonna go in and start airbrushing this bad boy. Before I airbrush, I kinda wanna go in and add some burn marks and stuff, so I'm just gonna grab my blowtorch and this metal tool. I'm sure you could probably use anything. Heat that up really good. There we go. Oh yeah, just a little tiny touch just to make it look really burned. Oh wow, yeah, just singe it. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's perfect. Just burn some of the fleece a little bit using this super hot tool. Oh yes, the burns are looking really good. They look absolutely fantastic. They look like real burns, which I mean, they kind of are, so it really worked out. Now I'm gonna attempt to airbrush. I'm gonna mix up some different colors, and I'm gonna try and make the withering look a little bit more crazy. I'm just getting some brown, a little bit of black. Then I have kind of like this little dropper that I'm gonna attempt to kind of mix all of them together. I don't know how well this is gonna work. Yeah, that didn't work at all. It's a lot harder than I thought. I can't seem to get the color I want. It keeps making green every time I mix it with yellow, so I think the black that I have has a little bit of blue in it. I'm just gonna try it really quick. That does have a nice yellow, kind of like dark texture to it, so I think I'm okay with this color. I'm just gonna go in and sort of like make it a little more musky around the edges. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Oh, I like that. Yeah, this is looking fantastic. Wow, this is looking absolutely terrible in regards to, you know, the burns. I think the burns look fantastic. They look exactly what I'm supposed to make them look like. It looks very weathered now, and everything's really coming together. Now I'm gonna try and make his little nose. So for the nose, I'm just gonna get a ball pit ball and then I'm gonna cut it. Boopity boop. Ah. Oh, I'm gonna use my little scissors. Just cut it into shape. This one's okay. I actually cut another one that I think looks a little bit better, so I think I'm gonna go with this one actually. I'm just gonna use a Sharpie to color it black, and I think this should do it. Just do a few layers of this. I'm also gonna color the inside of it too, just to make it extra black, you know? That should really do it. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. Oh, I like it. Oh, I like it. Get my little hot glue gun. Right here. Yeah. And there it is. I think our mask is now complete. Look at that. Got a articulating jaw. You can even see through the eyes. This is so freaking cool.